Welcome inside the locker room for the first time in 2025. Yes, the first show of the year. It is 16 minutes past 8 a.m. this beautiful hump of the week, Wednesday morning, New Year's Day. Happy New Year to you once again. For those who are for you just tuning in right now, I'm wishing you all the best of 2025. And it's going to be a great year of sporting action. I know it, you know it, and we're going to live and enjoy it by the special grace of the Lord. Ayokunmi here. Looking forward to great conversation this morning, and definitely banter must flow. New year, old us. It's going to be absolutely stupendous. Ayokomi once again joining me for the first time this year is the one and only Tega Supreme. Happy New Year to you, Tega. Great to have you in.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year, everybody! Oh my goodness, I've still not slept though. All the banger is still ringing in my ear. You people, sha. You people, oh, it was loud all night. I thought it
Indeed.
was daytime. That's how lively and alive the place was, at least till 3 a.m. So Happy New Year, everybody! It is amazing. This new year, Arsenal start their season with a London derby, the manner of wickedness. There was time for Arsenal to play when other people were playing. The English FA said, no, my body is not sweeting me. Let Arsenal play New Year Day. So whilst everybody else is standing over barbecue with some drinks, Arsenal players will be stretching and warming up. What a wahoo. All right, so that Arsenal match is today. We may touch on it a little bit. Um, but we also have the tennis to touch on and some football around Europe.
Mm.
But we want to find out now that 2024 is finally over, what your best sporting moment was. You can have three, since we are being generous today. Your best sporting moments. Mine,
Mm.
the first one that comes to mind off the top of my head would be French Open, Iga Swiatek versus Naomi Osaka. I still cannot believe Iga won that match and then went on to win the tournament. But my goodness, that match, Iga Swiatek and Naomi Osaka, if they play that match again for Naomi, I'm sure she will cry again. Is
Hot tears.
hot tears? All right. So you tell us what your best sporting moments were. That's just one. I've told you just one of my best sporting moments. I'll tell you the remaining two as we go along. So
Mm,
Ayokunmi will
mm,
tell
mm.
us how we can share those best sporting moments and how else we can be a part of the locker room. Ayokunmi, take over.
Okay, I will take one. But before I let everyone know how to tell us their best sporting moments, one of my favorite sporting moments of 2024 was let's see Tebogo winning 200 meters at the Paris Olympics. That
Oh
one
yeah, that was good.
definitely stood
That
out
was
for me.
really good.
That's one.
I,
We'll talk about
I,
the
I
rest
remember
later.
when I remember when Noah Laos was like, once I come around the bend, it's over for them. It was over for him once he came around the bend though.
He didn't
Because
see it coming.
he looked up and there was one guy from Botswana ahead of him and the guy did not stop running. So yeah, that was
Oh
a
my
good one.
goodness. Gonna be a fun show this morning. All right. 0809 is the WhatsApp number. 0809 4440981. Let us know your favorite sporting moments of 2024. You can have one, two, three. You can have 57. Well, just limit it to three, please. Just for my sanity. And then you can also drop those comments on YouTube as well at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Studio line is 0201 4489981. It's 2025. You should have all these numbers on speed dial. Come on, what are you doing? All right, let's get into the stories this morning, Tega. And as you mentioned, tennis is on the line. We're talking about that now. Coco Golf, Jasmine Paolini, and Taylor Fritz all clocked impressive wins on Tuesday as tennis powerhouses Italy and United States surged into the quarterfinals of the mixed team United Cup.
Yes, so we're talking about, remember when I was telling you that I watch the team sports just to know how the individuals will perform?
Mm.
Fantastic one. Coco Golf. I don't know what I've said it to this wild, wild west. It's going to be tough in the WTA because Coco Golf is sharp, sharp. So she won her second match yesterday, again in straight set. But what it was, her movement was brilliant. Her serves, the hiccups didn't show up. Remember season. She couldn't stop throwing in double faults. Hasn't
Correct.
really shown up this season. So fantastic one for the US. US was on point and they went through sharply to win. Also Italy, Jasmine Paolini. Fear shot women, oh, because that woman she was all over her opponent like white on rice. Like the woman had no breathing space. So that was also a brilliant performance by Italy. This early hours of this morning, I just saw Iga Swiatek carry Poland on her shoulder across the finish line into the quarterfinals. But Iga Swiatek's serves are still so poor. My God. I'm like, what have you been doing in the, I can't call it off season because, people that not go on break, you can't call it off season. What have you been doing since you're not playing competitive tennis? Let me put it that way. Because those serves, I thought that was the only thing she was going to be working on. She's still struggling. I don't know how you're such a big player with no serves. But yeah, she still came through on the returns and everything. She won her singles match in straight sets to make it 1-1, and then to pull Poland ahead of the Czech Republic. And then she came out 30 minutes later to play in the doubles, and she
Oh wow.
dragged and she dragged Poland across the line against the Czech Republic. So fantastic one there for her. The Polish are now through to the quarterfinals. So really brilliant tournament so far for the big name players. I also saw Rybakina in action. She was ruthless. She was flawless. Amazing performance. So yeah, the United Cup is really giving us an introduction into people playing. Also now, Osaka. Oh my God, I forgot to mention. She's won her second match in a row now in the Brisbane Open. And this girl, she has already told us that if the results don't start coming, she will not play again. It's almost as if the
Uh-uh.
tennis gods heard her and they said, oh yeah, results can start coming. Because she has been brutal. She has been brutal.
No grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody. All right, with that note, on that note, let's just move straight to other sports because I kind of have rounded up with tennis. Let's not take the second tennis story. Let's just move straight to the next story.
All right, let's move on to the next story and talk about a man who's probably having sleepless nights and not enjoying his new year. That is Ruben Amorim. And he has said Manchester United are in a battle for Premier League survival after losing 2-0 to Newcastle on Monday to end 2024 14th in the league. Tega, I never thought in my short years on this earth I would ever put Man United and relegation battle in the same sentence. But hey, here we are.
Ruben has put them there. Oh. I thought they were bad. Then I saw his statement. I was like, he's not telling lies. Oh.
At all.
But it is a tough one. And let me tell you, remember when I was saying that Manchester United have a chance, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. They did shockingly have a chance. Did you see all the few chances that they created, plus they have chances, plus the ones that they. I thought professional footballers should be walking the goalkeeper with that shot now. That's what I was saying. But nothing came through. And so a tough one for Ruben Amorim. I'm sure when they gave him this job, he was like, Manchester United are in a bad place. He just didn't know how bad. It is bad.
It's terrible, not bad.
It's
Terrible.
terrible. But, but, but in all fairness to Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has been around the league a little bit. And he was playing against Newcastle. Why was his team selection that way?
Ah,
You know,
question. No.
those are the
Mm.
questions he needs to ask himself before we start blaming Casemiro, before we start talking about the midfield being a little too slow. You had Kobe, the engineer, on your bench. Why did you start the? Some things baffle me when coaches make some selection. Somebody put on social media, you are playing against two South American thugs and a gambler, and
I
that's
saw
the
that.
midfield you
I
started.
I saw that post. My goodness.
And I was like, that was very apt because you are talking about, Joe Linton, and Gimaresh.
And
And that's
Tonali
the mid and then Tonali
in
to
good
add.
form
And
right
that's
now.
that's the midfield you chose to start. So whilst he's complaining about the players not being up to scratch, he should remember that his selection didn't show Newcastle the respect that they deserve. And that's why they got the first half that they got when they played that formation. Because they played a better second half all round. So ultimately he needs to also question himself. That relegation battle, is he ready for it? It's not going to be about the players. It's going to be about the strategy that he approaches the game with.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Let's see if, like Pep, he can turn things around. I mean, Manchester right now
Pep
is
has
in
not turned
disarray.
anything around though. He played
No, no,
Leicester City.
no,
Leicester
I'm
City is not
saying,
turned around though.
well, like I said, Manchester is a city in disarray right now. Red, blue,
Exactly.
everything's just
Red, anybody that is in Manchester now, whether it's football or whether it's Tente, we are all we are all looking for form.
Let's head over to Spain and talk about Barcelona, where they've lost another appeal for the precautionary registration of Dani Olmo for the rest of the season on Monday, one day before the deadline to register the Spanish international. Does this mean for Barcelona and for Olmo as well right now, Tega?
Almo needs to move. That's what it means. Almo needs to move. And I did hear that there were English clubs looking at him. Um, I think Barcelona should be able to do that arrangement. I hope that in their bid to see that they could have him registered, they did not put their team in getting him a loan deal. Because some people may want to take advantage and say, let's buy him out fully. That's your only choice. And the player wants to play, and the club needs some money.
Mm.
So I hope that whilst one team was working on appeal and trying to get him registered with the financial situation they're going through, that another team was also looking for a loan deal for him, because that's what that player needs. It means that the player is definitely going to move, because he can't play till the end of the season and he wouldn't want that. Barcelona can't still register players. They've still not sorted out their financial books. And it's a tough place, because remember, Barcelona thought they had a bad November until they entered December and it was horrible. 9 point gap wiped out. And now Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid are ahead of them, and both teams have a game in hand. So they haven't
Not
been able to
looking
win
good.
it. Yeah, they haven't been able to win in, I think, 9 matches, and then or one win in 9 matches. And then they're now losing a key player to their team due to their financial situation. It's a really tough place. You do not want to be Laporte right now. You just you just don't want to be him.
You definitely do not want to be Juan Laporta right now. It's really going on for Barcelona at the moment. Let's take a break right now, and then on the other side, we'll talk about a team that maybe with this new appointment, their fortunes will change for the better coming into 2025. Keep it tuned to the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Ruben Amorim, I beg go.
Told you that you're in a relegation battle. Take it or leave it. And
but
that's
man,
what he said.
but man,
And he's the one in the battle.
I know the players have their own, but that team selection. I mean, it's bad enough to select a two-man midfield against a three. You're not selecting two against that three. Ah,
Ah, I was just like, this guy, you don't like good thing.
he now took off Sexy, brought in Menu, but damage had been done already. Damage had already been done. Bullet don't enter body already at that point in time.
Wow.
I didn't watch the second
Mm.
half. After the first half, I went to bed.
But the
Now,
second half was much better. And you wonder, so why didn't you just do it at first? You that you're under pressure. The first thing to do you do when you're under pressure is to hold what you have first before you start looking for more. I don't know which kind of gambler you are. You've got to know when to hold on. Sometimes that song always plays in my mind every time I watch football. I'm like, didn't these people listen to this guy sing this song?
oh, Lord have mercy. Liverpool on Sunday. Me, they just forfeit the match, I beg.
All
I'm not
right.
even.
Meanwhile, we'll come back with still the greatest moments, and then we'll go into all this other.
All right, all right. Welcome back into the locker room for the first time in 2025 on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Your love music, love life, and of course, love sports station as well. Ayokunmi here. Tega in with me for the first time in 2025. Maybe tomorrow I'll get tired of saying for the first time, but hey, it's all good. You're welcome along the ride with us. We've been talking about the sporting stories and we asked the question right at the beginning, and we'd love to get your thoughts. We want to know your greatest or best sporting moments of 2024. One, two, three at the max. You could have a lot, but just cap it at three at the max. What are those sporting moments from 2024 that stood out for you and are etched in your memory? Tega mentioned one earlier. I also did. We'd love to hear from you. The WhatsApp number remains 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. You can drop your comments. Also, on YouTube, we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can drop your comments there. Your favorite, best, greatest sporting moments of 2024. We'd love to hear your different perspectives on that one. Studio line is 0201 4489 981. Tega, 2024 was a great year for sports, most definitely. Do you want to share your second best sporting moment of the year yet, or you want to keep that in the cooler?
Yeah, my second best sporting moment of the year, it went at the Olympics. So remember Sydney McLaughlin-Levern? And people were talking about, oh, she doesn't compete in a lot of uh, tournaments. She doesn't like to participate. Femke Ball is going to kill her. Da da da, yada
Mm,
yada
mm,
yada,
mm,
blah
mm.
blah blah. That's how Sydney. Everybody was doing the 400 meters hurdles like it was walk, and Sydney was breezing through. She was just like, I'm just skipping through the middles. I could not believe it because I have expectations of her. I know how she performs, but remember, she was just recovering from an injury um in the build up to the Olympics. So I didn't understand, I didn't know what form she would be in. My goodness, it was the way she dusted the rest of the team of the track, sorry, that really killed it for me. So my second best sporting moment was Sydney winning gold again at the 400 meters hurdles and leaving everybody else behind.
That was a good one. Well, for me, my second greatest sporting moments, I mean, has to be said, was United winning the FA Cup. Nobody saw that coming or expected that to happen, and it was a really good feeling.
Okay, yeah.
Although double-edged sword at the end of the day, but it was a good feeling at the time. So yeah,
And
there's
the
that.
people now sacked the guy and said he was bad. And now you have a guy that's supposed to be the special one. And he is special indeed.
I won't say anything beyond that. Alrighty, let's head over to the Serie A right now. Tega, you're muted in case you did not know. We're heading over to the Serie A right now. Let's talk about AC Milan. I mean, it's no longer news that they let Paulo Fonseca go, and they've decided to stay Portuguese right here. They've appointed Sergio Conceição as their manager after they parted ways with Paulo Fonseca. He signs a deal until June 30th, 2026. Is he the man to take AC Milan to the next level, Tega?
Well, Conceição was not a bad coach. We all knew that. I think the surprise was how he left his last job. But I think what was interesting about AC Milan was the way they had Fonseca's replacement waiting. You know, everybody was talking about AC Milan was playing against Roma. I remember the match that I said that referee, they need to suspend and arrest him at the same time.
Right.
And Fonseca was right to have been angry, and he was also sent off in that match. So he hasn't had the opportunity to even to serve his suspension. Um, but even during that match, by the time that match was over, the news came out that Conceição was already going to be replaced. So the WhatsApp message that they used to fire Fonseca, they had already typed it.
It was in the drafts, waiting.
They already typed it. We just meant to press send. by the time that match started, Fonseca's replacement was already. That's how smooth the transition was. Like AC Milan had already discussed with Consensao by the time that match started, because it was immediately after the match. The rumors came out that he was going to be signed. The next few hours, he was signed. So that means terms and conditions had already been discussed earlier on. So it's a smooth transition. Now, a lot of AC Milan fans didn't really like Fonseca's approach. They thought it made that AC Milan didn't play well and they didn't get the results. Under Pioli, AC Milan wasn't playing well, but they were getting some results. But with Fonseca, AC Milan fans even went less hopeful with him. And some even stopped watching the matches. The stadium wasn't even looking fuller. And so once Conceição was announced, there was good reactions coming from fans. I hope that that good reaction doesn't translate into too much pressure. Please, people should remember that Conceição's son is also playing in Italy. He's still a hero in his son's eye, and he's still a father to his son. So people should not disgrace him out of AC Milan, please. But I think Conceição will fare all right. The way he plays his football with the players that he has, because AC Milan has really expressive, attack-minded players up front.
Right,
And
definitely.
Conceição likes to play that kind of football, open, expansive, using the wings kind of to play his game. So I think AC Milan will enjoy under him if he plays them like that. So let's see how it works out for Conceição.
Well, hopefully he'll start better than his Portuguese brother in Manchester at the moment.
Abio,
Ah,
but
mm,
the Portuguese coaches are they're really getting jobs. So there's something happening there.
Well, talking about coaches getting jobs, let's talk about a coach who has lost another job here. And talking about Wayne Rooney, as Plymouth Argyle have mutually agreed to part ways with their head coach after just over 7 months in charge. The championship club
It
said
was
on
not a
Tuesday.
it was not a mutual agreement. They kicked him out the door. That one they're speaking mutual agreement is just English that they're speaking. It's the losses. Like when Rooney had no plan B, and plan A was always failing. As soon as they conceded the first goal, it's almost guaranteed that they were going to concede a second. And that was the problem. If you saw the score line for Plymouth, it was 4-0, 4-0, 6-1. They never had any decent loss. And they're always losses. And so I think after he lost, his team lost to Frank Lampard, the league was like, you're even losing to Frank Lampard, who is losing. You know how it is.
You have to go.
Yeah, you have to go. We cannot be here. We're bad before you came, but we are worse now that you're here. So yes, Plymouth have sacked Wayne Rooney. The question Wayne Rooney needs to ask himself is: maybe I am not a manager.
Good
Maybe I
question. I
have
mean,
maybe I have good intentions, but I'm not a manager.
second dismissal in 2024. I mean,
It's the people that keep hiring me that shock. What about his last performance on his last job made you to give him this job? Because if somebody came from a last job and they burnt down the factory, and the previous job before that, they burnt down their boss's car, why are you hiring them in your own company? Do you want to burn down your factory?
they're hopeful that change will come. There's hope of change, that
Because
kind of thing.
there's nothing, not from any of his jobs, that should make you hopeful that this guy is good. But
But Tega,
somehow he's getting jobs.
I mean, it's interesting because we've seen a number of these quote unquote newer age English managers that they just have not been able to hit the heights. I mean, your Lampards, your Gerrards, your Rooneys. What exactly are they doing wrong?
Oh, Gerard even tried. Gerard tried at least when he was in Scotland. And sometimes I think you should grow. There's some people that get jobs and hit it almost immediately. Um, but in England, I think with them they should, number one, they should grow because of the way English football is played. It's not enough to just go to school. English football is really athleticism. With other countries in Europe, like with Spain, like with Germany, there's a little bit of tactical genius, which is why Getafe will go and play against Real Madrid, and they will not just pack the balls. Even when they play a low block, it's tactical low block. It's not just packing the balls. It's not just I can outrun you, I can outjump you. There's a lot of work. So when you are coaching in those places, you have more. But with English football, you tend to put in a lot on your work rate as opposed
Right.
to
Right.
any other talent or technical abilities that you have. And so when English coaches come in through the ranks, that's what they know. And so when they have a problem, you tell them to turn around. Most in general, when a team is performing poorly, is tactical. And you now have to start finding ways for a coach that is half done, let me call it that way, or half baked. And that's where the problem with most of these English coaches are.
All right. Let's talk really quickly about Michael Antonio. Now, he says he's grateful to be alive after sustaining a broken leg in a car accident. He was discharged from hospital on Tuesday. That's more than 3 weeks after undergoing surgery on a lower limb fracture following that crash.
That's to tell you how the crash was. Did you see the car after the crash?
It was
I was
totally
like,
gone.
did you meet
Totally.
with a trailer? What happened to what manner of accident can you have? Where were you coming from? Where were you going to? It's not even interstate. That's the kind of accident you have on interstate. So it was really a nasty crash, which is why he had to stay in the hospital for that period. We just hope that he'll be able to get a speedy recovery, at least to walk. Let's not talk about football yet. Football can rest. Let's
Hmm.
get him back to 100% walking. Let's see how his rehabilitation would take before we start insisting on football for him. But we are thankful for his life. He made it out alive, and now he's out of hospital. Let's see how his rehabilitation would be. And we're
Indeed.
thankful with him. But that accident was really, really nasty.
It was horrible, a horrible
It
accident.
was horrible. Yeah.
All right, let's take your messages, your thoughts, and of course, your best sporting moments of 2024. Let me see here. AY from Minoru says, my favorite sporting moment of 2024 was Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. It was such a wholesome moment, and I enjoyed all the tears pouring in from all angles on social media. Happy
Tayo,
New
I'm
Year.
with you.
No, it's
We
AY.
we know
No,
who
it's
we
AY.
know
It's
who the
AY.
best we know who the best sorry AY we know who the best player was in 2023 2024. Every other player is compensation FC.
Oh my goodness. Tayo says, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to you too, Tayo. My sporting moments are Lukman being named AFCON Player of the Year. That too was at the
Oh, that
top.
was a good one. That's a
Very
good one.
good
That was
one.
at the top. Yeah.
Let's see, Tebogo leaving Niles on the track to think about his life choices and Manchester United, or Manchester not being red or blue, but teary-eyed. Tayo, you're playing with fire. And then he says, I was doing an analogy with Man United yesterday, but Tega wasn't around. My analogy was not, you understood what I was talking about, Tayo. Come on. And it says transfer window is open. Money spending will be heavy. Rooney was a good footballer, but his coaching tenure isn't it. He's just enjoying football royalty. He should go and do industrial training with Amorim. From frying pan to fire, probably. I don't know. Emeka says, I'm here.
You
United
should
is playing
just leave
Liverpool.
coaching. Leave coaching. Just leave coaching and do pick up something else. Maybe you should be like a secondary school football coach. You don't have to be a coach of a
Professional
high
football coach.
professional football club. Yes.
Mm.
Impact your community.
Emeka says, I'm here. United is playing Liverpool next at Anfield. That match must not be televised. Just think of the massacre. Amory must be wondering what he was thinking when he took up this job. Lastly, all those Chelsea fans crying up and down. What's the fuss? Sure, you people said you are not in the title race. That mentality has crept
Oh,
into the players as well. So just accept your L's. That game against Liverpool, I'm trying to see if we can forfeit it. There's no point. There's really no
no, no,
point.
no. They have to show up, but if EPL should do blackout because that's not a good advertisement for competition. Oh. You can't say you're the most competitive league and Liverpool will meet this Manchester United. It's
I'm
not a
telling
good
you.
advertisement.
Victor
Not a
says
good.
happy. Victor says my biggest sporting moment of last year was Man United winning the FA Cup. And Nathan says Bruno Fernandes got himself intentionally suspended against Newcastle so he could play against Liverpool, but he never expected that kind of performance and beating from Newcastle. Now, well done. On YouTube, Patrick Pius says, Happy New Year to you too. This is the year for the Lord of Banter. His favorite sporting moment was seeing City capitulate. Another was watching Ademola win Africa's best. That was well deserved. Charles Chidozie says his favorite sporting moments in 2024 was watching Ademola Lookman score a hat-trick in the Europa League final and eventually wrapping it up with the African Best
Fantastic one.
Award.
That was my third. That was my third favorite moment. It was Ademola Lookman's performance in Europa final.
Indeed. And finally, Inamdi says Real Madrid winning the UEFA Champions League for the 15th time. That's my favorite sporting moment of 2024. All right, absolutely fantastic. Wilson says, let me see. The Italy versus Croatia game at the Euros, spectacular match. Very true. That one.
Oh, that was a good moment.
Very
That was
true.
a very good moment. Right. All right. Thank you so much for sending in your best sporting moments for 2024. Thank you for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Thank you for sending your messages via WhatsApp and streaming live on YouTube. Till I come your way again on Friday, where Real Madrid will be in action and we'll be looking at the build up into the weekend matches. Have a fantastic 2025.
All right, thank you, Tega. And you do too have a great start to your 2025. And thank you for being a part of the locker room this morning and sending your thoughts in. We always love to hear from you. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast at 9. We'll get into a conversation, chill conversation on Lagos Talks, just talking about the new year and, of course, what it is that you are most looking forward to.